Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I wanted to talk a little bit about how to improve your relationship, how to increase communication and connection, which we're all seeking with our significant other and with our children and people that we care about in our lives. And I have discovered a very, very unique way in which to accomplish this. And it is with this pure harmony pendant. And it's something you guys have heard me talk about before on the podcast. And I have the developer of the Pure Harmony Pendant, Robert Marking, with us today. You want to say hi?
Hey, Wendy, thanks for having me today. We got an exciting topic to talk about. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, and so I had a really profound experience with when I met you. I met you at a Nest Held training, and I got harmonized, and I had such a profound experience with how I felt after I got harmonized, and how kind of bad I had been feeling. I'd been living in a moldy home and had a lot of stress and things like that, and I felt so much better, and I just was really taken aback by my experience. When I got home, I put a pendant on my daughter Winter, and she got harmonized by you. And after that happened, we had such good connection. Like I had it was very emotional for me. Like we were like communicating better. We were like laughing more when we were communicating. It wasn't kind of this push and pull and kind of like struggle like we'd have, like, getting ready in the morning with your child is can be a challenge, and things just kind of flowed a lot better. And I was very, very touched by that, and I just found it so peculiar. But it was happening. Yet I felt it, and I wanted to explore this topic with you a little bit more about how exactly does the pendant help you connect with your partner better.
It's a great topic, and I really think that this is one of the biggest things that the pendant provides for people is harmony between two people that are love with each other, husband and wife, or even parents and children, for that matter, and in the family unit. So I think it's one of the biggest profound impacts, and it's just something that I think people, when they try the pendant, will experience for themselves. But everything in the universe has a resonant frequency. Okay, it's unique to itself. I call it that your core vibration blueprint. And there's things in the universe that are harmonious with your vibration blueprint, and there's things that are disharmonious with your vibration blueprint. And obviously, we want to be harmonious vibrationally with our mate, right? So just think of yourself like a grand piano. What happens if you fall off your bike? You have some structural trauma. Let's just say somebody throws a brick in your grand piano. Well, you still play, but you're no longer tuned perfectly. So a lifetime of being exposed to stressors and trauma in your environment, what happens, you still play, but no longer perfectly tuned. Now, let's just say, Wendy, you marry a great guy, great values, you just love him to death, but he's been through a series of trauma too. And his grand piano has been traumatized. We bring two pianos that aren't tuned perfectly together and they play, you have something called discourse. So that disharmony, that poor tuning in one piano will actually cause the other piano to be poorly tuned well. So energetically, vibrationally, it's actually causing destruction instead of growing resonance together. So what we can do, it'd be great if we could take some type of technology and tune those two pianos perfectly back to where they were when they were first developed, or when you were first born, to retune you, kind of reboot your computer or retune your computer. So now it's like two tuning forks. And now instead of being disharmonious, you're harmonious. So instead of making you weaker, your mate is making you stronger as a result of that. And then your child is harmonized. So you have three tuning forks tuning together, a more powerful vibration, two children, more powerful. So now you're building resonance together as a couple or in a family instead of having destructive interference. So we're all tuned together.
Because aren't a lot of fights that people have just because they're disharmonious, like their energy frequencies aren't in harmony? So that's why they end up fighting, and it's not really because of anything else. It's not the topic. It's just energetically they're just not aligned.
Right. Yeah. So basically, you have something called the autonomic nervous system, and you have two status quos. You have a sympathetic fight or flight mode, and you have a parasympathetic mode, which is the resting and healing and regenerating mode. Your mate may have some stressors or trauma negatively impacting them. That's causing a stress response with their autonomic nervous system. So what happens when you get a stressed sympathetic response? So it means you're always in that revving on the go mode. You really can't be open and vulnerable in that mode. And that stress kind of like a invisible barrier or a wall that doesn't really allow you to get that deep connection or that soul connection or the rapport that you want to get, because you can't get there when you're in that stress mode. So if we can actually release these stressors, not only from yourself, and also your wife or your mate can do that as well. And basically we can actually be tuned together, but there's no longer a stressor impacting your mate or impacting you energetically or causing a stress response with you. So now that barrier is gone, and then we can really connect and bond in that mode. So this is another way the pendant really helps couples really connect. And it's just really remarkable. And I know your testimony of winter was really amazing, but we hear it all the time. So it's pretty cool.
Robert, tell us some examples of couples that you've harmonized.
I have a friend by the name of Josh, and he's, of all things, an MMA fighter, right? But he's really a nice guy. And he's actually a cheer captain at a university. His girlfriend, they're both like the most gorgeous couple you've ever seen, but they just couldn't connect and communicate properly, just always butting heads, you know. And I harmonized him for his MMA fighting. He's actually, his testimonies on my website. But I got one for his girlfriend too, because I knew that it was going to help that situation. Well, they harmonized. He came in the next day with a big smile on his face. And he said, my girlfriend and I, we sat down, we harmonized, and we talked for 3 to 4 hours and covered every indifference, every issue we had, solved our problems, and we've just never felt more connected. And then I have another woman, she's a practitioner. She has 2 children that are autistic, you know, Lisa, and she's always loved her children, but she harmonized herself and her children. And she just noticed that she couldn't stop hugging them and telling how much she loved them. And just she felt just closer and connected to them. And they were not very touchy-feely at all, children at that time. So really you get the vibrations going, and you're in harmony, and you just feel like you want to share and open up and be who you really are when you get the stress out of the way. You know, some of the greatest happiness that you'll have in this world is really finding your right mate. But the greatest heartache is if you can't emotionally handle it because you're stressed, it can cause the most heartache that you have as well.
Yeah, because how many people that truly love each other have a series of stressors they go through, and they end up breaking up over it, and they kind of want to be together, but they just feel like they're not happy, and they're looking for some place to hang that hanger that, oh, it's you, it must be you making me unhappy.
Yeah.
And there's so many instances like that you can think of with your friends or your family or yourself, where there just really wasn't a very good reason for the breakup. It was just all these external things, and couples just couldn't make a connection. They kept fighting, and there's so many stories like this that are just so unneeded.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for some reason, like, you've heard stories, well, you know, he's a super nice guy or a nice gal. We connected. I just love who she is. I love what she values and the principles she lives by. But for some reason, I just can't get that. It's like there's a wall there. I just can't get through that wall. We don't know what it is that's kind of keeping us apart. And it's just causing that wedge, that disharmony. So energetically or vibrationally, we're not in sync. And we as human beings can have resonance with our mate. And the result of that is always a powerful vibration that will make us stronger, make us better, make us healthier. You know, so we can take that, use that to our advantage, and have a great relationship, have a great family unit, have a great workplace if your coworkers are using it, or even a team all harmonized together.
Yeah, we have everyone at Myers Detox harmonized, just so everyone just kind of works well together. Our meetings are more productive, and people just have better communication and they work better together. And so that's why everyone in my company is harmonized also. So if we've, kind of sparked your interest and you want to try a pure harmony pendant, you can click the link below and get one for yourself, for your spouse, for your children, and get harmonized.